Hi everyone, this is Justine again. So I wanted to give my quarterly update on my 12-week year. So as a recap, I had 4 goals for this 12-week year, which goes from August 1st to November 1st. And first is STEP preparation. So for medical school, I have to take step 1 before I can start my clinical rotations in January, February. And so that's something that's really exciting and also a very important exam, obviously, to pass. Second, research. I want to transition on to a new project, finish up my current one, which is on gene-environment interactions for childhood asthma. And then third, I am currently taking Spanish, which I started at the beginning of the year roughly, and I'm almost, or not quite almost, but I'm finishing up the beginner Spanish, and I want to transition to the intermediate level by November 1st, ideally earlier, maybe in October. And then my last goal is to improve my mile time. So for a really long time, my mile time has been pretty much stagnant at 12 minutes per mile, but I wanted to improve it initially to 10 minutes, and when I set that goal kind of just casually, I got really close to 10 minutes already. So now I want to improve it to 9 minutes, and we'll see if we can even go further than that. So just want to update you all for accountability's sake in terms of how that is going. So first, when it comes to step 1 preparation, my main study method that I've been using is Anki plus practice questions. So if you are familiar with kind of the ecosystem of third-party materials, Anki is very popular in medical school, and additionally for practice questions, I've been using Amboss heavily, which is a really great resource both for looking up medical knowledge because it's very easy to have photos, diagrams, everything is labeled and it's very easily searchable, as well as practice questions. And I think the real strength of Amboss is the fact that the explanations are excellent. They are way better than anything that you would get from the NBME like practice exams, or even I would say from UWorld, because I did use UWorld when I was a pre-med studying for the MCAT. So Amboss is definitely my favorite resource for learning. UWorld is another resource that is considered to be the gold standard for actually simulating the testing conditions for STEP. So we recently got access through our medical school to UWorld, and so that's something that I'm going to probably start on this weekend. I will say that in terms of my STEP preparation, because of the fact that the school year has started and we're also having to study for neurology, which is the block that we're currently in, it's definitely not been as fast as I would like. My reviews on Anki have been really piling up, but my current plan for that is, one, I want to do around at least 300 cards a day in total between neurology and STEP prep, and then at least do 1 hour of studying even when I have class and I have to study and I have extracurriculars as well. At least I can do 1 hour of STEP preparation every day, and that is so that I can hopefully take my STEP exam early as soon as our dedicated period starts, which is kind of a 6-week period that you get at, I'd say most, if not all, medical schools to just focus on studying for your exam. So I want to take my exam really early, the first week of dedicated, and then hopefully be able to travel. And I would like to go bike across Japan with my partner, so that's something that I really need to work hard for if I want to take it early and get all that vacation time. So there's that, and I'm also going to be making sure that I take at least diagnostics or practice exams every weekend, and then reviewing those within the same day, if not the following day, so that way I'm still kind of testing myself and getting exposure to more questions. For research, I had a really positive breakthrough actually just yesterday and like over the weekend as well. So this project that I'm working on has been having a little bit of a standstill for the last few months, even though I've been continuing to work on it, just because it's seeming like now the data that we had was actually inverted, which is like in a way frustrating because, you know, we could have saved some time if we had like not had that issue, but at the same time it's kind of positive news because it's a project that I've been working on now, I think for a little less than a year. And so if the kind of data came out and there wasn't really like any kind of associations or really anything to say, that would kind of potentially like put some roadblocks in terms of finishing the project. So we found that issue, and then I also was able to make some progress on some coding that I had been having like some issues with, and so that felt so good yesterday when that got done. And so I'm feeling optimistic, and I think the main thing is just making sure that I'm putting in the hours every single week, and if that happens, I know that I can finish this hopefully even by end of September. Now it's almost end of August. So there's that, and then that will allow me to move on to other projects that I'm excited about. In terms of Spanish, so what I'm doing right now is I do 3 hours of Spanish every week, and the way I do that is through Lingoda, which is a Zoom-based live platform, and I really like it because it's very structured and also very interactive. So back when I was studying French in high school, it wasn't nearly as interactive and you don't get as much talking practice. So I really highly recommend Lingoda. I think there's even a sale right now, not that I'm sponsored or anything, but I just generally think that it is a useful platform, and also is very good for if you are someone who is on the go, because you can just do it on your phone, online, and take a Zoom call that way. I think the biggest hurdle for me has just been trying to fit in those times, because there are specific classes that are not always offered every single day or every single time block that necessarily works best for me. Because when I have to do like 2 or 3 hours in a single day, when I have like other commitments going on, it's definitely challenging and makes it much less enjoyable. I find myself kind of, dreading it beforehand, though I always am glad that I did it after. So one thing that I'm doing this week is I've kind of broken it up more, where instead of doing the whole 3 hours in one shot, which is what I used to do just to get it over with, I'm breaking it up into like kind of one class per day. And so that so far has been much more manageable. And so I think I might try to ease the load that way moving forward. And I think also just getting practice when you're out and about. Here in Los Angeles, we have so many people who are Spanish speakers, and so that gives you lots of opportunity to practice in the real world. And I think that in my experience so far, everyone's been really friendly and open to talking to you, and they can also tell that you're a student, so they are very kind in that way to help you learn. So that's been really good. For my mile time, so actually, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, but I broke my 10-minute mile, and so that was really exciting. Right now I'm currently at 9 minutes and 45 seconds. So at this point, since it's only been 3 weeks, I'm wondering if I can even go to like an 8.5 minute or an 8-minute mile, which would be great. I also want to build some endurance though, because I really want to train for a triathlon. In the next 2 years, I want to do an Ironman, so endurance is going to be like very important, obviously. So instead of doing that, I could do also just trying to increase my mileage over at the same speed. So those are 2 things I'm considering, but I do exercise for 1 hour every day, and so that has been really helpful in terms of just kind of improving my time. And one thing as well is that I always make sure to do a warm-up, and the one that I use is actually one that I found here on YouTube that was geared towards triathletes in order to prevent injury. So I think that when you are exercising, like I guess a lot, when you're exercising for an hour a day every single day, you definitely need to make sure you're paying attention to your body. And I want to be clear that even though I'm exercising every day, it's not like I'm doing very intense workouts every single day. If I notice that my body's really strained and like I need a break, I might do yoga instead or something else, some kind of cross training. So that way I'm not causing myself to get injured, and then that's going to potentially prevent me from making any progress for months. So that is a quick update on my 4 goals for my 12-week year right now. I will say that overall I'm feeling pretty happy with my progress, and I think that it's really coming down to having those goals tracked. So I use my habit tracker, I have my time tracker, and I also use the Reminders app on iOS, which I mentioned before, and that kind of helps me keep everything in line on a day-to-day basis, kind of making everything a habit so I don't have to think about it too much, and that way I can get everything done while still maintaining everything that I need to do as a medical student, and being involved in other activities as well. I think the biggest area where I need to improve right now is definitely with my step studying, and so trying to get in more hours, and I think really learning to be more efficient when I'm doing Anki in order to get cards done faster is going to be really helpful for me. So I will keep you updated with that in the next video on the 12-week year, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.